What's a stupid fact that you know that is actually correct? For every single human being on Earth, there are 2.5 million ants. Yes, this means that there are about 20 quadrillion ants on this planet. If the ants decide to take over, are you strong enough to handle the 2.5 million that you'll be responsible for unaliving? If you've got kids, you might have to unalive more because a 2-year-old isn't going to accomplish a goddamn thing if millions of ants are marching towards them. Pink is really just a light shade of red, but we think of it as a distinct color because we have a word for it that stuck. Not all languages have that. In Italian, they have a similar word for light blue, called azzurro, and it's so common they actually think of it as a separate color from blue. We have the word azure in English, but it isn't nearly as common, so we tend to think of that color as just a shade of blue. Sloths are most vulnerable to predators when pooping. They have to climb down to the trees to the floor, and it is a bit of a process for them to actually poop, leaving them at risk of predators. Well, if for this case I may consider stupid fact to mean the same as fact that is displeasing and sometimes frustrating, then I'd say the fact that caffeine is a diuretic really does require that one who consumes caffeine must account for the consequent extra loss of water from the body by urination by drinking more than usual amounts of water in order to properly rehydrate the body toward best overall functioning. If a given person desires best overall functioning of the self, every day I end up urinating, possibly more than double the number of times I would, were I to cease ingesting any caffeine. I'm telling you, there are millions worldwide who also are taking trips to the loo many more times than would actually be needed lest the lot of us disavow caffeine, and that's not gonna happen, is it? Think about the amusing consequences, much more washing of the hands. Which leads to increased sales of soap. The increase in washing of hands with soap leads to an increase in dry skin of the hands, that in turn leads to increased use of moisturizers which leads to increased sales of moisturizers. I always use a very good brand of lotion for my hands, always. I won't switch either, it really works beautifully. Bananas are berries, but strawberries are not true berries.